3 or 4 years ago I did a movie on this that probably is still in the NAP archive, but I thought I would update it with the new CS3 versions. It basically works the same way, but just will look more up to date if I show you this. Here's a somewhat familiar looking logo, although it seems like they've kind of ripped off. Anyway, it's a logo. Now, it's very important to note for this to work, the text was converted into outlines. If you don't want to do that, you'd have to make a copy of your logo and do that, because in order for this to work best, it needs to be in outlines. So, we're now going to select everything and then copy it, and then I'll simply switch to Photoshop. I'll make a new document, and it's going to automatically create the size that I need based on the clipboard, which is fine. So I go ahead and paste, and then it gives me 4 options. Or normally, when I'm working with Illustrator and Photoshop, Smart Objects is the best choice, but in this case we're going to do a shape layer. And I also didn't mention this out loud, but when before I hit paste, I just made sure this was black just so I could see what I was doing and would get better results. So I'll click OK, and if I bring in my layers palette, you can see it has in fact created a shape layer. The interesting thing about shape layers, if you're not that familiar with them, is this is a vector shape. So if I were to take my direct select tool, you see I actually have a path that I can edit. But perhaps the more important part of this in our example is we can go in the edit menu and choose define custom shape. Call it something, and then once we've done that, we can actually close this document. We don't need it anymore. So now we're working on another project, and let's say we're going to do a letter size document, 300 pixels per inch, high quality, and we need to incorporate our logo in that. Well, now we can very easily simply by using the custom shape tool. And when we go to the custom shapes, you'll see that one of the things that's built right in there is a bunch of shapes. Now the very end is the one that we just created. So over here in the options bar, we're going to choose how we want to create this. Right now we're going to create it as a shape layer, although I could use fill pixels if I knew the size I wanted, but we'll use a shape layer. Black is the color if I want that color for now. Hold down the shift key and you can see I can drag this as big as I want. It's very scalable because it is vector based, and at any point if I did decide I want a different color, I could certainly choose a different one and it would change to that color. And by doing it, now we have basically this logo is built into Photoshop. Every time we use Photoshop, that logo is built in there. So here's what you might want to do. After you've created 2 or 3 of these custom logos, to make sure you don't do it again, go to the edit menu, to the preset manager, and you'll find if you look under custom shapes, here's the shape you created. Let's pretend we also created these, even though we didn't. We'll just say these ones were ones we created. I would choose Save Set, call it something important, and then I would save it somewhere away from Photoshop as kind of a backup plan. So I won't in this case, but I would normally save it, and then that way if you ever lose these custom shapes, you can use the load button to get them back in again. So it's a great way to take advantage of the combination of creating something in Illustrator and then incorporating it as a built-in part of Photoshop. So there you go. Very simple, very cool, but also very effective. I think that's A-OK. I'm Dave Cross. I'll see you next time.